today's tier list, we're bringing 80 chairs. This is our biggest tier list ever, and it is specific to comfort. So we're not going to look at warranty, return policies, or any of that stuff, just if it's comfortable. We're going to kick it off with the Steelcase Leap. Orion, what do you got?
I'm pushing the Leap to S tier. I've held it back to A tier. Honestly, I don't know why. I've been in this thing for 3 straight months. It's got the most comfortable seat, the most comfortable back, the most comfortable arms. I don't love the recline, but it's still great. This is S tier comfort.
Unlike Ryan, I can't quite get this to S tier. I think the back is the best in the business, the arms as well, but that seat, that contour on it, is just not perfect for me. A tier.
There's definitely a lot to love about the Leap. I love the flexibility. It just allows you to move around in the chair. I like the EMEA seat a little better, so this is just below an S. It's going to be a S in 2 A's, very high A here.
The Ergohuman Gen 2 is honestly the biggest surprise for me in a long time. It is a huge upgrade in the seat and the arms. I think the backrest is better and the headrest from the original Generation 1. I got to go A tier here.
So I agree. This is a huge upgrade. This is a chair I can finally recommend. I do really like the seat improvement, and the arms are much better to me. This is an A.
Agree with what these guys said. Huge improvement over the last one. I just cannot get into a mesh seat like these guys can, so I'm still going to be at a B on this chair, but A overall.
The Colamy Alice has been our new value pick, but even if you take the price out of this, this is a really comfortable chair. I just love the curve in the backrest. This is going to be a high C for me.
I agree with Robert. For under $300, this thing is amazing, and it does have good comfort even compared to $500 chairs. I just don't love the lumbar support. It's a little plasticky, so I'm going to be at a C+.
There is a lot to like about the Colamy chair, especially with all the adjustments and that price point. I like the seat, but it can be a bit firm for some. The backrest is comfortable, and I do like the headrest. The armrest, though, do need a bit of an upgrade. I'm going B- on this one. This will be C+ overall.
The Anthros chair is one of the most asked about chairs recently in our comments, and we do have it here. Robert's in it right now. This is a super high-end chair. It actually goes against what I typically sit in, and it has really thick seat, but I do like it because it has such a pronounced lumbar, they call it pelvic support system, that kind of forces you to be forward. I do wish that it had a couple more adjustments that I look for in a high-end chair, but I do think it's comfortable. I got this at a B.
This Anthros chair is so close to an A or an A+. The back support is excellent. The seat cutouts that they have are patented, and this is super unique for your sit bones. I just can't wait to see what it looks like when they fix the front edge of the seat and go with a flatter arm. I'm going B tier.
Yeah, I can't think of another chair where you can really dial in your backrest support like you can with the Anthros chair, and I just love that. The seat is on the thicker side, but I feel it really supports my weight and kind of spreads it out across the chair evenly. So I'm just at a B+. This ends up being a B overall.
If you want to fast track your search for the most comfortable chair, check out our updated comfort cheat sheet down in the description. Next up, we've got the Knoll Regeneration. Now, a lot of people don't know about this chair, but I got to say it's one of those secret good finds. Honestly, the seat is comfortable, but could be a little bit more substance there. I think if I would have done a better job picking the right arms, I'd even rank it higher, but right now I've got it at a B.
My favorite part about this chair really is the backrest. It allows for a little bit of movement, some flexibility there, and I really like the poly backrest design. This is a B for me.
Like Greg said, this is just a great sleeper pick. Well-built chair. The seat is super comfortable, ridiculously flexible. I like that rubber-like back. The arms aren't my favorite, and I despise the recline. But otherwise, this would be an A. Because of those, I got to be at a B, and we're going to be at B+ overall.
I've spent a lot of time in the Humanscale Freedom, and I actually like the way you can recline and have your head positioned so you can keep working. Has a nice seat. The arms need a little work, though. This is a B for me.
I've also spent quite a bit of time in the Humanscale Freedom, and I cannot stand the recline because it cricks my neck forward, and it's just really uncomfortable for me. I'd probably like the version without the headrest better. I wish that the arms had a little bit more adjustability, but I do really like the seat. I'm going to be at a C tier.
Yeah, I think this is one of those chairs that I just can't fall in love with. T-Rex arms are too short for me, and I think that seat, while it's comfortable, it's a bit on the thin side. I like the lumbar support, but unfortunately, that neck crinker headrest, which is probably one of the best headrests, if it didn't crick your neck, I got to go C tier on this. It'll be C overall.
For the first gaming chair on our list, we've got the Asus Destrier. Now, I like this chair overall in the gaming chair spectrum, but it has that mesh seat, which I'm not a huge fan of, and it's not quite as flexible as I would like, but I do really like the backrest and the arms. I'm going to be at a C tier.
This is definitely one of those mesh chairs that's just sort of average. If it didn't have the front edge issue, I could maybe bump it up a little bit, but because it does, again, just average, I'm going C tier.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest problem is, like Greg said, that front edge of the seat isn't super comfortable. And also, it has this bump in the armrest that nobody really asked for, but they put it in there. It's very uncomfortable, in my opinion. It's going to be C's all across.
I like the bump in the armrest. It's great for mobile gaming.
Okay.
You're a mobile gamer?
No. That's what it's for, though.
Now they're going to say, they're like, Ryan's a mobile gamer, but he is actually the mobile gamer. That's the irony here. It's made for mobile gamers, and he doesn't like it. The Herman Cosm is one of the few mesh chairs that I actually like and can sit in. You definitely have to get their task arms because the leaf arms are terrible. They will shred up your elbows for sure. But this one's got a great seat, feels like a hammock, and it's got a built-in headrest. It's comfy. B tier.
This is a tough one for me. I absolutely love the backrest. It would be A tier, but the seat is just really small, and I don't feel like I fit in it properly. I always feel like I'm sliding off the front edge, so it's going to average to a B.
I really like how the backrest is connected to the seat on this chair. It gives it a really unique feeling. I love the back support. The seat is okay. I'm not a huge fan of mesh seats, but this one's better than most. You have to get the task arms though, like Greg said. I'm at a B-, B overall.
The Clatina Mellet used to be one of our top picks for a value price chair, but it's starting to slip down as we found some nicer chairs. My problem with this chair, I'm just a little too big to fit in it. Like I don't even fit on the seat. Not enough depth for me. It's going to be a C.
Yeah, like Robert said, this was a great chair when we saw it, but we're starting to see some downsides. One thing that I will say is this thing has the most amazing headrest that we've probably seen on any chair, let alone a chair for under $300. So if you really want a chair with a good headrest, good back support, then this can be a good chair for you. I'm at a C.
Yeah, this is an actual S-tier headrest that some companies would be charging like $200 for, and the actual chair is like $269. Unfortunately, though, for me, the headrest won't carry it, and I don't like that recline on it. It creates this weird gap in the back of the seat. And then I also think that when you look at the seat itself, it's just a bit too short. I'm going C-. It's going to be C overall.
The Haworth Fern is a very interesting chair for me because it can be ranked anywhere from a B up to an S depending on how you configure it. If you go with digital knit, no headrest, no lumbar, I think this thing is easily S tier.
I think digital knit is insane on this chair, and I actually like the lumbar support, but I do like lumbar that's aggressive. Unfortunately for me, I think when you look at that seat gap that's developed when you recline in the chair and the fact that the headrest is just meh, I gotta go A tier.
I love how the backrest on the Fern flexes and moves with you as you move in the chair, and the seat is really nice. There's a few chairs I like better than this, so that's why it's not an S, but it's really close. With 2 A's and an S, this is going to be an A+.
The Cougar Terminator is one of those hard chairs to just sit on. The seat is incredibly hard, it's narrow, and then the backrest is wide. It's a little awkward in design, but I gotta say D tier because it's sittable, I guess.
This is a chair that looks really big, but when you actually get in it, the bolsters on the seat are pretty small, so they feel really restrictive. It's going to be a D for me.
Yeah, this chair's just so weird because it looks like there's so much going on, but it doesn't do anything. All the stuff is just there for looks. And like they said, it is super firm, and it doesn't really fit me. I actually fell out of this chair just trying to make the headrest connect with the back of my head. I'm at a D-, and we're at a D overall.
I wish we had footage for that. We'd use it every time.
The Ticova ergonomic chair gives you a lot of adjustments to help you get comfortable, but unfortunately for me, the seat is quite uncomfortable. Although the headrest is quite nice, that kind of averages to a C for me.
The Ticova is a very average chair when it comes to comfort, decent seat, decent arms, decent back, decent recline, but that's actually pretty amazing when you consider that this chair is under $150. I know I'm not supposed to comment on value, but this might be the best value in office seating.
Because it is just average, it's just an amazing value. I'm going C tier, it's going to be C overall.
Robert's Kitchen Chair is our barometer for an F-tier chair. You do not want to be below this thing. It's F-tier.
I asked Robert again this morning if I could buy this. He said everything's available for the right price. I'm going to keep working on this. But yeah, like Ryan said, from a comfort standpoint, F-tier.
I get a lot of hate on my kitchen chair, but it's great for having dinner in, not so great for working in. It's an F. F all across.
The Steelcase Gesture is one of Steelcase's flagship chairs. Unfortunately, it's not one of my favorite. I think the arms are definitely S tier, and I think that headrest is probably S tier as well. I just don't love the seat on it, and it doesn't have enough lumbar support for my aggressive wants. I'm going to be giving a nice gesture here, though, and bump it to a B-.
The Gesture is one I go back and forth on a little, but I do really like the backrest. The seat, not so great, but I do also love these arms. So when I put that all together, it's going to be an A for me.
The Gesture's got those amazing arms. I also love how flexible it is, but I'm not a huge fan of the seat like Greg said. I wish it had a little bit more padding, and it kind of slants me forward a little bit. I'm going to be at a B+ for this, and we're going to be at a B overall.
The Mavix gaming chair has a really comfortable backrest. I like the flexibility and the lumbar support. For me, I find the seat pad to be a little bit too thin, so I'm going to bring this down to a C.
I actually like the Mavix chair quite a bit. I think the backrest is really supportive. I do like the seat. I wish the arms had a little bit more adjustability, but they do have good cush, and this thing has an amazing recline. It goes back super far. I'm at a B tier.
I think the Mavix is probably one of their most comfortable chairs from X-Chair and the Mavix lineup. I like the seat. I like the back. It's got aggressive lumbar. The only thing I'd say is while the deep recline is really nice, I don't like how it sort of positions you in a slightly reclined position. I'm going to give it a B+. It's going to be B overall.
The OM Yes chair is a chair that tests well specifically because of its comfort. It's got a good seat, good back support, good armrest, and it's got a really nice headrest. Also has a pretty good recline. So even though it's a lower price chair in the spectrum, I've got this at a B tier.
I don't think that you buy the Yes chair for its looks, but I do think it provides a really good value from the comfort standpoint. The seat's nice and supportive. I like the arm pads that we have configured on the chair, and it does have an A tier headrest. It's a B plus for me.
The Yes chair really has nice elements all around. Like they said, really nice headrest. I like the new armrest with the larger pad and the seat. It has what looks like a lot of contour, but it doesn't. You don't feel it as much. Feels really nice to me. B's all across.
IKEA Jarv or Jarfilet. Trigger warning, F tier.
F tier.
F tier.
I recently did a full review on the Haworth Soji, and what I found is even though it's lacking some of the high-end features that the other Haworth chairs, it's still really comfortable all around, and I just have no complaints about the chair. It's going to be a B.
There's just so little to complain about with this chair. It's just a nice, solid pick. It doesn't do anything that's going to make you hate it, but it doesn't do anything super wowing, so I'm going to be at a B as well.
I think this is the second most comfortable chair from Haworth. I like pretty much everything about it. If I was going to complain about something that maybe you want to consider is that everything's a bit firm. But yeah, this is above average. B for me, B overall.
Secret Lab Neue is supposed to be one of their higher end chairs, but unfortunately for me, this is going to be an unsittable chair. I cannot stand the seat. The backrest is really uncomfortable with that lumbar support, and the arms just do not fit me. They're too far forward and too wide. F tier.
What Ryan doesn't know you about that lumbar support is it's turbo lumbar support, but unfortunately the rest of the chair is terrible, so I could go D tier.
Yeah, for me, I find myself sinking through the mesh, and then I'm hitting the hard frame, very uncomfortable. And to me, the lumbar is just a little too strong. So D for me, it's going to be averaging out to a D minus.
The Herman Miller Embody non-gaming version is definitely their most comfortable from the Herman Miller lineup. The only thing I don't like about this chair is the upper portion of the backrest. If I really want to sit upright, it tends to roll my shoulders forward. Otherwise, it's a great chair, A tier.
When we finally got this chair in the office, it was really hard to get me out of it because I liked it so much. The suspended feeling in the seat, and I love how comfortable the recline is. The only problem I have is, like Greg said, my shoulders do roll forward a little bit, so it's going to be an A.
The recline on this chair is absolutely amazing. My favorite aspect of the chair. I like the arm pads as well. They're nice and big, soft cush, and I think the back provides good support, and the flexibility is unreal on this chair. I do find that the lumbar can be a little bit pokey on the non-gaming version, and that's why I'm going to be at an A tier for this. Otherwise, I'd be at an S, A tier overall.
The BTOD Ameep chair is really comfortable. I do like the Amiya chair a lot, and this has the Leap seat on it, which is also an A tier seat. So A tier backrest, A tier seat is going to be A tier overall.
Yeah, this thing's also got amazing arms. You get the high-end Leap arms on this chair, and I actually think that the Leap seat is an improvement to the Amiya seat, so I think that this is an upgrade to the Amiya overall. I've got this as an A tier.
I like the seat, but I don't necessarily love it. I do love the backrest and the armrest. For me, it's going to be an A overall.
The Herman Miller Vantum is a great looking chair, but unfortunately the comfort doesn't match the looks. I find the seat to be a little firm and it's tiny, even for me at 5'9". The armrests are a little firm and too wide for me. I think the backrest is okay, but I think the top upper back support is absolutely useless. I'm at a C minus.
I like the headrest and the backrest on the Vantum chair, but the seat is tiny and is not made for even average size people, so I got to go C tier here, make sure it fits.
I'm just so far from fitting in this chair, I really can't get comfortable in any way. The only thing that I feel is nice is the headrest, but it's going to be a D for me, averages out to a low C.
The Newtral chair is one of those chairs that I thought I would like, but the aggressive lumbar is something that feels just a bit too gimmicky. Overall, the rest of the chair is just okay. I'm going C tier.
For me, I found myself bottoming out through the seat a little bit, and to me, the lumbar was just a little too strong, even when it was collapsed. So this is going to be a C for me.
The Newtral chair is a weird chair for me. There's nothing I really hated about the chair or loved about the chair, but unfortunately I couldn't take advantage of that unique lumbar system. So overall, it's just an average chair to me. I have a C overall.
With the Haworth Zodi upholstered chair, I found myself wanting to sit in this chair more when I kind of retested it. I like the cradled feeling in the backrest. It's just a little firm in the seat, a little firm in the backrest, so it's going to be a B for me.
So the Zodi 2 is actually one of my favorite chairs, and this chair is very similar to the Zodi 2 except for that backrest. Unfortunately for me, the backrest is going to be quite a bit of a decline from the standard Zodi. It's just way too firm for me, and the lumbar doesn't do anything. I can't feel it, so I'm going to be at a B tier for this one.
Yeah, pretty much exactly like Ryan said. I think the seat and the arms are great on this chair, but that backrest is a miss. You can't feel the lumbar, and it really doesn't have any flexibility. I'm going B tier. It's going to be B overall.
I think the Newtral Posture 8000 chair is very comfortable overall. It's got thick padding in the seat, the back, and I think the headrest is S tier from an adjustability and a padding standpoint. I just don't love that the backrest is a little bit concave, and I'd like it if it was a little bit more flexible. I'm at a B tier.
Yeah, I think this chair has S tier headrest, S tier armrest, but the back and just overall with the chair, it's just not flexible enough for me. And I don't like that hugging sensation you get that Ryan mentioned with the backrest itself. I'm going B tier.
The pads on the 8000 look really thick, but I find I don't sink deep down into them. And that's a good thing, so they're giving you the right amount of support. It's going to be a B for me, B's all across.
GT Racing bucket style gaming chair, F tier.
That's an F tier.
F tier confirmed. F's across the board. F.
The Herman Miller Aeron Classic is where the three of us are probably going to disagree the most. For me, I still can be comfortable in this chair, even though it does have some problems. The front edge is not as nice as the remastered, and certainly the recline is not as nice. So it's going to be still a low C for me.
For me, the Aeron Remastered and the Aeron Classic are two completely different chairs. I cannot stand sitting in the Classic. It is the most rigid chair I've used. The lumbar support is super pokey, no flexibility, and the seat is atrocious. I cannot stand this thing. F tier.
I've seen some funny comments lately that you guys think that we rank this low just because we don't sell it or we can't access it. We rank it low because it's terrible, and it's the same reason we stopped selling it, so I'm going F tier. It's going to be F all around.
The Hanami chair is an all-mesh chair that I was actually really excited to test because it has quite a few features, especially for the price. My favorite thing about the chair, without question, is the headrest. I think it's really cool. I think the footrest is completely gimmicky and useless, and I do not like the mesh seat. And the lumbar support pushes my back way too far forward for the tops of my shoulders to use the backrest. I'm at a D tier.
I actually think this is called Hanami, but no one actually knows. They did miss on this chair, though. Unfortunately, this has some problems with it. It's better than a kitchen chair, but not by much, especially in the seat and the backrest. I'm going to go D tier.
Yeah, I do like the headrest on the High No Mai, but if that's the only thing that I like about the chair, it's going to be D tier. D's all across.
Oh, look at him. He had one, and he was ready to deliver that. The Eurotech IOO chair was in a desperate need for an upgrade. Unfortunately, they just got one. We received it today. We put it together, but we're ranking the generation 1 of this chair. And unfortunately, the armrests are a miss on this. The back slant's too far backwards. I just can't quite get comfortable. Although it's still better than average, it's going to be a C+ for me. But stay tuned because the review is coming out on the new one.
So what I like about the IOO chair is the high and wide backrest, and I really like the flexible lumbar support. Like Greg said, this new version we got wowed me this morning. Arms, huge improvement, and other areas look nicer too. So this is a C for me.
Yeah, similar story to these guys. I just cannot rank the Generation 1 high because the armrests just slide around like you're on an ice rink, and the chair back will not come up to support you any further than almost like a mid-recline position. But the new version is way better. It looks like they've fixed both of those things. Unfortunately, I'm at a C+ for the old version, but the new version will be different. C overall.
With the IKEA Marcus chair, the seat pad is so thin. I feel like I'm sinking right through it, and the arms are probably the worst on this whole list. It's going to be a low D for me.
Yeah, the seat isn't great. It does have some padding in there, and it's decently soft, but you sink in quite a bit. No adjustability on the arms. They do have a little bit of padding. My favorite thing about the chair, without question, is the recline, but it's got this weird lumbar pad thing in there that just jabs your back. D tier.
Fixed arms, awkward lumbar, and a seat that goes flat. Sorry, guys, this is sittable, but it's terrible. D tier for me, D overall.
The Think is one of the best looking chairs from the Steelcase lineup, but it's not my favorite in terms of comfort. I do think that the backrest is pretty good, but sometimes I can feel that frame if I sink in a little bit too much, and I do wish that it had more of a standard recline instead of the hip thrusty action. I'm at a B tier.
Ryan, I think that was an attempt at a pun, but I'm not really sure. This chair has got pretty good seat, pretty good arms. I do actually love the arms, but unfortunately that back is just, it's sort of too short and the lumbar's not aggressive enough. I'm going B tier.
The backrest feels good to me. I don't ever feel the bars like Ryan was saying, but it's still, again, not even at the top half of the Steelcase lineup. It's a B for me. B's all across.
A lot of you in the comments are going to say that this is definitely an S tier, but I got to say, it doesn't fit my 6-foot frame. The backrest hits my shoulder blades. It's just not enough. I'm going C tier. It's average.
Yeah, same problem for me. I do like the seat pad, but it's just too small. Definitely in the backrest, too short for me, so it's going to be a C.
The sail actually fits me pretty well. I like the rubber-like backrest. The lumbar doesn't do much for me, but I think the arms are really great, and I like the recline. Seat's pretty good as well. I'm at a B tier for this, but we're going to be at a C overall.
The Razer Fujin Pro has a lot of good things going for it. I like the high, wide backrest with adjustable lumbar, super adjustable headrest, but unfortunately, they haven't resolved the front edge of the seat, so it's going to be a low B for me.
Yeah, I was really surprised with this chair. I think it's comfortable overall. I like the arms a lot. I think the backrest is good. The headrest is nice. It's got a great recline. But Robert hit the nail on the head. The front seat is just uncomfortable, and I can't use it for extended hours. C+ for me.
This is a tough one because, like Ryan said, it's pretty much amazing in a lot of places we didn't necessarily expect, but that seat is one of those that's so tough to sit in that I can't sit for extended periods. I got to go C+ here, C+ overall.
The Nightingale CXO is a chair that I've ranked A for quite a long time, but I had to bring it down a little bit just because when I compare it to other A and S tier chairs, it doesn't have the same flexibility and the armrests aren't quite as soft. I do love the recline and the seat is super soft, so I'm still going to be at a B tier.
Yeah, I think if you fit in this chair, especially the headrest, it could possibly be an A or a B tier, but that seat cushion runs super hot, and after Ryan's back issues, I'm a little bit concerned with that long term. The armrests are just really not great, and so for me, I got to go C tier.
The backrest really is just too short for me, so it's hard for me to get comfortable there, but I do like the seat. I do get a little warm in it, though, since it's a pretty thick pad. So it's going to be a C for me, averages out to a high C.
The Colamy Kieran is one of those chairs that actually outperforms what you would expect from it. I think all around it's more comfortable than the Ticova chair, and I think it's just slightly above average, so I'm going to go B- here.
It's crazy how much comfort they got under this price range. This is actually the most comfortable chair for me, under $300. Very comfortable seat. I like the arms. B- for me.
Yeah, I think that Kieran's a great chair for the price. The seat pad is one of the most comfortable pads that you're going to see in this entire list. It's thick, and it doesn't really bottom out like I would expect a low-end chair to. The backrest is pretty comfortable. I don't really like the recline, though, and I think that the arms could be a little bit more comfortable. So I'm going to be at a C tier for this. We're at a B- overall.
The Odin Lake 747 chair unfortunately has all the mesh chair problems that we find in a lot of chairs. So it has frame issues, the front edge issues. The good thing is it does have a nice backrest, really tall. So a taller user might like that. It still doesn't bring it up above a D.
To me, this chair is just a little bit too gimmicky. I think they're just going overboard with the amount of support that they're trying to provide and just trying to be a little bit too different. I don't think that the chair does too much that's comfortable. I'm at a D tier.
Sorry, Odin Lake, I know you sent us this chair for free to test, but unfortunately, 3 lumbar systems like on the Ergohuman up the entire backrest is just a little too weird and far out there for me. There's nothing really great about this chair, and that seat mesh needs some work. I'm going to go D. It's going to be D overall.
The Herman Miller Gaming Embody is one of the few chairs that I've ever ranked as S tier, and I'm still S tier on it today. I think that the backrest and the seat are improvements towards the standard Embody because they have a little bit more foam in there that makes the lumbar a little bit more comfortable. S tier for me on this.
Just like the non-gaming version, I can't use this version because of the way that it rolls my upper shoulders. Unfortunately, because of that, I got to drop it to A, but it's still A, guys. It's a really good chair.
So this extra amount of padding does, for me, make this an S tier chair. Love the backrest, love the recline like I talked about earlier. So this is going to drop in S tier.
If you want to speed up your search for the most comfortable office chair, check out our cheat sheet in the description.
Steelcase Series 1, unfortunately, I'm the only one in the group that actually doesn't mind the seat, but the chair overall is very small, so you'd probably need to be, 5'6", 5'7" to start fitting in this chair. The armrests are terrible, though. I'm going D tier.
This is another chair. It just doesn't feel even fair for me to rank. I'm so far from fitting in it, although I will prefer to sit in this over the kitchen chair, so it's a D.
I love Steelcase chairs. To me, this just doesn't feel like a Steelcase chair. The seat isn't comfortable to me. The backrest isn't comfortable. Like Greg said, the arms are terrible, and it's got the hip thrusty recline, so there's not a lot of redeeming comfort aspects. I'm at a D-, and we're at a D overall.
The BTOD chair has a deep cushion seat if that's what you're looking for. For me, I prefer the thinner, more firm seat pads, but this does have a nice sizing. If you're a larger user, you're going to fit well in this chair. It's going to be a B- for me.
Overall, I think the IKEA has good comfort due to that thick padded seat. It is pretty cush. The armrests have some decent padding, and the backrest is pretty comfortable. The one thing for me is that I'm a little bit too small just for the dimensions of the chair. It's just a little bit too wide for me, so I'm going to be at a C+.
I like the backrest. I like the lumbar. I definitely like the headrest on this one, but the seat is just a bit too fluffy for me. I'm going B-. It's going to be B- all around.
The Herman Miller Varus is one of the cheaper options in their lineup, and you can definitely tell that when you use the chair. It doesn't compare favorably to the other chairs. The seat has decent padding, but it bottoms out pretty quickly. The armrests are okay. I do like the back, though, and I think the lumbar support's pretty good. I'm at a C+.
It's not terrible, but it's not what I would expect from Herman Miller. I think the seat's okay, back's okay, arms are okay. I'm going to just give it a C because I think it's average.
Similar to the Soji, the Varus doesn't bring some of those higher end features that some of the other chairs in their lineup have, but it doesn't have any issues at the same time. Not as comfortable as the Soji, though. It's only a C for me, C all across.
I'm really curious to see who's going to be mad at me in the comments on this one, but this thing is absolutely rock hard. It's better than the kitchen chair, so it's getting a D-.
Yeah, it's just hard all around, and then the contour in the arms kind of forces you in a position. It's going to be a D.
Yeah, like these guys said, just rock hard in the back and the seat. The arms are terrible because of the cutout, like Robert said, and when you recline, they don't come with you. They're way too far forward. I just would not recommend this chair. For me, this is as close to an F as you can get without being an F, D minus, D minus across the board.
I love the pivoting backrest in the Humanscale Different Smart Chair, and this has probably the best seat in the Humanscale lineup. Arms, not my favorite though, so this is going to be a B+.
I love the back support on almost every Humanscale chair, and the Different Smart is no different there. I do like the arms though, but they do have a problem with hitting my funny bone, and I wish it didn't have the hip thrusty recline, but I'm still at a B+.
Yeah, this is my most favorite chair from Humanscale, and honestly, I think the only things I don't love about it are the funny bone issue and how it reclines. If you could adjust that tension, I think it'd be better, but it's an A for me, and it's going to be a B overall.
The Ergochair Pro has been a historically poorly ranked chair on our list, but it's actually looking better and better the more bad chairs that we see. So I'm going to get this at a D tier, not quite F, just because it doesn't have a lot going on for it.
Yeah, I think the seat is firm. The arms are really firm. It's got a neck puller with your hair for the headrest. I don't love that aspect of it, but like Ryan said, there are other chairs that are worse. I'm going to be D as well.
Yeah, it feels very hard in the back of the seat pan for me, and I feel myself sinking through the mesh of the backrest, hitting the hard frame, so it's got to be a D for me. D's all across.
The Haworth Fern gaming chair could have been an A if they didn't force you to get that headrest. I like the lumbar support, and I think the mesh is just okay compared to their digital knit, but it's still a really good chair from Haworth. I'm going to go B tier.
So there's actually two versions of the Fern gaming now. I like that Xbox version because you can get the digital knit, but unfortunately, you're still forced to get that headrest. So that knocks it down a full grade for me. It's going to be a B.
This is a great example to me of how the specs on a chair can drastically change the ranking that it gets. The Haworth Fern with digital knit, no lumbar, no headrest is an S tier chair for me. But the Halo version that we have with the vinyl seat, the lumbar, and the headrest would be a B minus for me. If you could get away from that vinyl, take away that lumbar, and get into the digital knit like the Xbox version, then I'd probably be up at an A, but I'm going to be at a B minus for this version, but it's B overall.
The Herman Miller Mira 2 has a nice polyback backrest, which is something I personally like a lot. It has a seat that is a little better than the Aeron. I don't feel it's as restrictive. Armrests are a little weird looking, but very comfortable to me. So this is going to be a high B.
For me, the Mira 2 is just a little bit too hard everywhere except for the arms. I like the arms a lot. They're really squishy, comfortable. They are a little bit too wide for me, though, so I have fit issues with the chair. But the backrest and the seat just being really firm and having such hard edges, I can't get above a C tier.
Yes, the armrests are definitely a bit droopy on this chair, but they're super comfortable. I like the backrest. I like the lumbar. I don't necessarily love the seat. I'm going to go B. It's going to be B overall.
The Hag Sofi is a really well-built chair with some cool adjustments, especially the arm depth adjustment, which could be amazing for you guitar players, but I don't love the seat. I think it's a little firm. I think the armrest could be a little bit softer, and the backrest is just too small for me, and I really feel that frame, so I'm going to be at a C tier.
This chair is just a bit too rigid for me. I think it's probably average all around. I like the seat. I like the arms. The backrest has no flex in it. I'm going to go C tier.
Yeah, my back just feels too wide for the frame of this chair, so I'm always feeling like I'm hitting the hard edges if I get anything off of center. So I do like the armrests, how you can adjust them really nice, but this is still going to be a C for me, C all across.
The Hag Capisco definitely has its disadvantage because it is more for a specific use. I could never potentially use this all day, although when I mix it in at my standing desk, I do like the different positions it offers, but because it's just sort of average and can't be used all the time, I'm going to go C tier.
Yeah, I'm really just ranking this, considering it a chair that you use, like Greg said, for a break in the day. And for that purpose, I'm going to give it a B. I think it's comfortable being able to kind of move in different positions, sit backwards.
The Capisco is definitely the most well-built, most comfortable, most adjustable standing desk chair that we've seen. It's tough to compare it against an office chair, though, that you can use for 8 to 12 hours. I do think that it has good padding, and those adjustments do help to make it comfortable. So I'm going to be at a C tier, and we're at a C overall.
I don't want to be the one to sail it, but this is the exact same chair as the Sail standard chair. I'm going to give it the same rank, C tier.
So just like the other Sail chair, I wish this came in like a B, C sizing, because then I might actually like this chair, but unfortunately it's going to be a C.
Like Greg said, this chair is no different than the standard version, just slightly different colorways. So I've got the same ranking, B tier, and we're at a C overall. The Sidus T50 isn't a terrible chair, but it does have a couple downsides that kind of drag the score down for me. The main thing is going to be that lumbar support, and then the arms aren't super cush. So I'm going to be at a C minus on this one.
Yeah, the lumbar is definitely pokey here. The arm pads are awful. They're really, really cheap. This is one of those chairs that looks great aesthetically, but we don't rank it like that, so I'm going to have to go D tier.
This is a chair that just has too much waterfall front edge to me on the seat, so I don't like that. And again, lumbar has adjustments, but it's still too firm. It's going to average out to a C minus.
The X Chair X2 is part of this redemption tier list for me where I'm bringing stuff up from the F tier that's better than a kitchen chair, but that's about it. It's better than a kitchen chair. I'm going D-.
I'm right there with Greg. I had to pull the X chair out of the depths of F tier just because we've got so many bad chairs that are worse than this chair now. It's not great, but it's not the worst, so I'm going to be at D tier overall.
I actually was pleasantly surprised when I first sat in the Haworth Assure chair, but unfortunately, the seat depth is short and the backrest is really short, so I don't fit great. It's going to be a C-.
I was also surprised when I saw this chair, but for different reasons from Robert. This is not like any other Haworth chair. It doesn't feel like a Haworth chair. It feels more like a generic chair that you'd see from an import brand. It's not super good, but it's not kitchen chair territory, so I'm going to be at a D tier.
I can assure you one thing about this. If it had more adjustments, it would be better. But unfortunately, it doesn't really have any, and I can't fit in this thing very well. I got to go D tier. It's going to be D overall.
The Herman Miller Lino is similar to the Varus chair, going to be on their lower end and not very comfortable compared to their higher end chairs. The seat's a little bit firm. The armrests are a little bit firm. I do like the backrest lumbar support, though. I'm going to be at a C tier.
Yeah, everything feels firm on this chair for me. The seat, the back, the arms. There's just no real flex to it either. I think it's an average chair overall. I'm going C tier.
The Lino reminds me of the Sofi, where it's just a smaller chair, smaller seat, and I feel I have to really sit squared on the chair to feel comfortable. It's going to be a C for me, C's all across.
The Steelcase Amiya chair might just look average to you, but it is anything but that. I think that everything about this chair, seat, back, lumbar, and arms are all excellent. I'm going to go S tier.
I can't quite go S tier because it doesn't have the flexibility like the Leap has, but it does have a more comfortable seat than the Leaps. This is going to be a high A for me.
For me, the Amiya is just going to be a slight downgrade to the Leap in almost every way. I don't think that the back support is quite as good. The chair is not as flexible all around. And I do like the Leap seat a little bit better than the Amiya's, which is why I have the Leap as S tier. But I'm still going to have the Amiya as A tier overall.
Our next chair is the XSM from Newtral Posture. This is a petite chair. So we had April from the office test this out. She started sitting in it a couple months ago and has stayed in this chair. She gives it an A- for comfort. Now, the one thing I can test is the arm pads, which I did really like. They're even better than the other petite chair on our list here. So we're going to stick with April's rating at an A-.
The S Racer is one of the only chairs that I have ever sat in that is worse than Robert's kitchen chair, F tier.
This thing is actually worse than the GT racing chair. I have to go lower than F, F-.
Now, I never got an F- in school, but the S Racer would get an F-. Super hard all around, and this is an F all across.
The Truly chair from OM Seating is truly a gem that most of you don't know about because, well, we don't talk about that brand very often. But I do like the seat, the back, and the armrest for this model. I think it's a little bit above average. I'm going to give it a B+.
Yeah, the Truly really has a lot of adjustments, especially in the backrest. They get it fitted right for you. You can really crank up that lumbar support, and personally, I'm a fan of the poly back, so this is going to be a B.
The Truly is one of those chairs that doesn't have a lot of downsides and really is starting to compare favorably to other chairs in its price range just because we haven't seen the price being increased on it like other brands. So it's really actually starting to be a good value. I know I'm not supposed to talk about that, but I can't help myself. I do think this is a great chair, especially for comfort. B tier overall.
The Tempurpedic Ergohuman chair has a seat that is a bit on the firm side and has some contour, but I feel like once I kind of sank into it, it did feel comfortable, although a little bit warm for me. I do like the backrest. Lumbar is really nice. It's going to be a B.
So the Ergohuman Tempurpedic is the Gen 1 Ergohuman, so we're still going to have some of those things that were resolved on the Gen 2, like the backrest not coming up with you fully and the armrest not being super ideal. For me, I don't love the seat edition, though. It's just a little bit too firm, and I can really feel the contour, unlike the OM Yes chair. It's just not soft enough, so I'm going to be at a C tier for this.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite version of the Gen 1 chair. Actually, I like the memory foam, and after a little bit, it softens up. But again, that Gen 2's out, and I think it's better overall, pretty much. So I'm going to go B tier here on this. It's going to be B overall.
So after F-tiering the Aeron Classic, I'm sure you're expecting a low score on the Aeron Remastered, but I think that Herman Miller did an amazing job revamping the Remastered and removing a lot of those pain points that happened on the Classic. I'm going to be at a B tier for the Remastered.
This thing showed up in my spot in the conference room, so I've been forced to sit in it now like 4 to 5 hours a week. This thing is the recline king. I'm going to boost it up a little bit from C tier previously. I'm going B-.
Like Greg said, the recline on the Aeron is amazing, the best in any chair I've sat in, and the mesh gives you the nice suspended feeling. I really love this chair. It's going to be an A for me, but it'll be a B+ overall.
We're going to group all those Office Max and Target special chairs, you know, the ones that are $100 and less. Honestly, this is still better than Robert's kitchen chair, and I would prefer to sit in it over something like the Jarfilet. I'm going to go D-.
Really just the advantages of these chairs is they're widely available and you have a chair for a low price, but unfortunately they're not very comfortable. I would not expect to spend long hours in this chair, but yes, it's better than the kitchen chair, so it's a D.
Yeah, same thing as these guys said, a little bit more comfortable than the kitchen chair. Doesn't have much else than that. I'm going to met a D- here, D overall.
So major love-hate relationship for me with the Humanscale World Chair. Love the backrest, love that pivot, just like the other Humanscale chairs. But unfortunately with the seat, I can find myself bottom out, actually hit the mechanism. So it'll average out to a C.
I think the Humanscale Different World compares favorably to a lot of mesh chairs. Like Robert said, great backrest. I also like the armrest, don't really like the recline, but the seat can be a problem. While I like the mesh and like that it's super elastic, it's not very forgiving in terms of the seat being quite small. I like that they removed the front edge, so it gets bonus points there. I'm going to be at a C.
Unfortunately, I bottom out in the Humanscale Different World Chair. That makes it unsittable, even though that backrest is nice, and I guess the backrest pivot for lumbar is pretty good too. I just can't use it. I'm going F tier. It's going to be D overall.
The Serta leather chair is your typical plush leather chair from a big box store. Comfortable at first because it's so soft, but I do question whether or not that will hold up over the long run, and it's probably more detrimental to your health overall. I'm going to be at a C tier.
Yep, just like Ryan said, this is a big puffball, but extended use, a little worried. I'm going to still give it a C- because it's better than some of those chairs in the D ranks.
It has this kind of big upper backrest, headrest kind of pad, really pushes you forward in the seat. Again, like Ryan said, it's going to feel nice when you sit in it, like kind of that showroom test, but over time, it won't be good for you. It's going to be a C- for me, averages to a low C.
The Eurotech Vera chair is one of those chairs that I can sit in all day, no issues. I love that backrest. I love the seat. I just wish the arms were a little bit softer. I'm going to go A tier.
The Vera just has a great backrest, has that built-in lumbar curve. It just pushes into my back just the right amount. It's going to be a B for me.
Same as these guys said, great seat, great backrest. If it had a little bit more flexibility and the arms had a little bit of softness to them, this would easily be an A tier for me, but I'm at a B+, and we're at a B+ overall.
The Razer Isker chair is ready to give you as much lumbar support as you need. In my opinion, it's too much, even if you compress the lumbar totally. And also the headrest is a little too much, but if you remove it, it's just a really hard backrest. This is going to be F tier.
Yeah, the Razer Isker chair just accentuates every downside that I have with gaming chairs. It is the most firm, the bolsters are the most pronounced, it forces you into this position, the lumbar is weird, it pushes the top of your back forward. To me, this is just an unsittable chair, F tier.
I think there's a reason why Razer has already dropped a version 2 of this chair, which has improved upon a lot of this stuff. This chair is terrible pretty much all around with a gimmicky lumbar. I'm giving it F. It's F all around.
The Haworth Zodi is going to be a top 5 chair for me all time. I really love the back support on this chair. The lumbar is super unique and it's flexible. I think the seat is really supportive and I like the armrest quite a bit. One downside with this chair is the dual mode with the mechanism. Some people don't love it and sometimes it can be tricky to dial in your perfect spot. And for that reason, it's not S tier for me, but it's still a high A.
I'm one of those people that Ryan's talking about, but I do think it's a huge upgrade over the Classic. I love the backrest, I love the seat and the arms on this one. This is an easy A for me.
So I actually like that the Zodi has that dual mode where you can perch forward on the chair. This gives you just one more way that you can kind of move around and sit a little differently. This is an A tier chair for me, A all across.
The BTOD Petite is another petite office chair, and of course we had April review this one. She told me that the seat felt a little bit odd shaped and it still sits a bit too tall for her. She thought if you're a bit taller than her, say 5 foot, it'd be better, but she said C tier. We'll go C tier all around.
The That's It Balance is a bit of an unusual pick for this tier list, but this is going to be one of those chairs you're not expected to use it a full day. But even when I did a longer sit test years ago, I found I could still only sit in this for about a half hour, so it's only going to be a D tier.
Yeah, this was a tough one to rank in this list just because it has such a different application compared to an office chair that's used for 8 to 12 hours. My problem with the That's It Balance is it's incredibly expensive, and I think that their normal chair is more comfortable than this one. And so I have a tough time ranking this one any higher than a D, so that's where I'm at.
Kneeling chairs are definitely not for me. Even if it's the most expensive one that's out there, I'm still going to give this an F tier. It's going to be D all around.
It seems like Secret Lab has been trying to phase out the Omega for like 3 or 4 years now just because they've had limits on it, but we do have it in the list still. I think this chair is terrible. It's your prototypical gaming chair that's just super firm and uncomfortable. I'm at an F tier.
The Secret Lab Omega, I believe, is actually going out of stock forever, and it's for a good reason. It has the traditional side bolsters. It sits like a rock. I can't use this one. If you want a gaming chair from Secret Lab, you got to look at Evo 2022. I'm going to F tier this.
So they try to fix this by giving you these cushions to make the chair more comfortable, but actually those pads are very uncomfortable. You remove the cushions and the backrest is so hard. This is going to be a D- for me, F overall.
The Steelcase Series 2 has a seat that's just a bit too firm for me. Actually, it's really too firm for me, but I do like the backrest. I like the lumbar. I like the armrests on it because they are their really nice 4-way arm set, and that headrest, if it just did a better job holding in place. But overall, it's not too bad. I'm going to go B-.
So just like the Series 1, this is a very small chair, hard for me to fit in it properly, but I do like the backrest. Has a little bit of that contour design, kind of similar to the Gesture or even like the Haworth Zodi upholstered version. So that gives it a little boost. This is going to end up a C for me.
So the Series 2 is just going to be a slight upgrade to that Series 1. They're actually the same exact chair, everything underneath the seat, so you still get that hip thrusty recline. I actually don't like the backrest on this chair any more than the Series 1, though, just because the lumbar is too pronounced for me and a little too firm. The one thing that's really going to carry this thing above the Series 1, though, is those arms, and that's why I'm bringing it up a full tier. I'm at a C-. We're at a C overall.
We've seen the Branch Verve chair picked as an overall best chair pick, and this is crazy in my opinion. This chair, first of all, is just not large enough for even the average size user. It doesn't even go high enough in the seat, so I can definitely not be comfortable in this chair. It's going to be a D.
Yeah, for me, the Verve has a couple good things going for it. I think the backrest is okay, and I really like the recline in this chair. The seat could be a little bit better, and the arms not having any softness or adjustability other than height is a problem, but I'm still going to be at a C-.
I can use this, but like these guys said, the arms don't adjust enough and they're uncomfortable. Same thing with the back. It does not fit me. The only thing that I could say it looks like it would be good is the seat, but unfortunately it's so soft it bottoms out right away for me. I'm going D. It's D overall.
For me, the Staples Hyken is just the definition of an F-tier mesh chair. It doesn't have any redeeming qualities for me other than maybe the headrest is decent, but the arms are uncomfortable, the seat is terrible, and I cannot use the backrest. F-tier.
There are a few chairs that I will pick the kitchen chair over an office chair. This is one of them. It just puts you in such an awful position. I'm going F tier.
You may see the price and be lured in by this one, but stay away. This is F tier, F all around.
The Lenovo Legion Edition gaming chair is honestly awful. I don't like the seat. It's too firm. I absolutely cannot use the armrest because of the awkward ridge in the back. Like literally can't put my arms on them because they're that uncomfortable, and the back is loose mesh. I'm going F tier.
The only thing the Lenovo chair really has going for it is its looks, but unfortunately that does not count in this tier list. The headrest would be okay, but it doesn't stay in place, so it doesn't get any points here. It's going to be a D.
Yeah, this is just a tough chair because there's so many deal breakers on this thing. Like Greg said, the arms and having that raised ridge around them is just terrible for circulation and just comfort overall. The seat is hard from the middle point back, but the front edge is also a problem because it's really straight up and down, and I can really feel it on the back of my legs, and that's probably the biggest downside for me. Loose mesh on the backrest, it's not great. I'm at a D- with this one. We're at a D overall.
The Haworth Vari has a large open seat, accommodates a lot of different sitting styles, but unfortunately the backrest, I just sink into that mesh too much, so it's going to knock down to a C.
Yeah, I'm right there with Robert. I think it's a well-built chair. It looks good. The seat is decently comfortable. I don't love the front edge, but it's not terrible. I think the armrests are pretty comfortable, but the backrest just ruins it for me, especially the top of it. I sink in so far that I feel the top of the backrest on the tops of my shoulders, and I just cannot use it because of that. I'm at a C tier.
This thing is pretty average. The Soji, the Fern, and the Zodi chairs are all much more comfortable than it. And honestly, we couldn't rank it, any of us, very high. So I'm going to go C tier. It's going to be C tier overall.
The Branch Task is a super basic chair, but I do think it has a pretty comfortable seat, arms, and backrest. The downsides are going to be the lumbar. I think it would be better without the lumbar in there at all. And I wish the armrest had a little bit more adjustment. I'm going to be at a C tier.
This is my favorite chair from Branch, but everything about it is just pretty much average. The arm pads are a bit softer than some of the chairs in the price point, but honestly, again, just average. I'm going C.
So all three of us actually agree that the Task chair is more comfortable than Branch's more popular ergonomic chair. For me, part of that is the high, wide backrest keeps me away from the frame. It's still going to be only a C and a C all across.
The Humanscale Liberty is another chair from the Humanscale line that I do like quite a bit, especially the seat and the backrest. The lumbar is awesome. I just wish that I had some more adjustment in that tilt recline feature that they have that's automatic, and that the arms were a little bit more adjustable. I'm going to give it a B+ though.
I really love the Liberty chair. It has that nice pivoting backrest, just like some of the other Humanscale chairs we talked about. Nice thing about this one, it removes that funny bone knocker. So this is going to be an A tier chair for me.
Like Robert said, the backrest on the Liberty is great. It's my favorite backrest out of any Humanscale chair. It's going to be taller than the Different models, and it's going to be softer than the Freedom. I also think the seat is fantastic. The armrests are okay, just because they have such limited adjustment. I get that's the point of the chair, but only having 3 height spots and no width is a problem for me. So I'm going to be at a B tier, B overall.
The Steelcase Carmen has one of the most comfortable backrests of any chair I've sat in. It flexes as you move around in the chair. Fortunately, the seat is a little small and restrictive, but it's still a B for me.
The Carmen's tough for me because I like the backrest a lot. I do think that they cheaped out a little bit on the arms. I wish they would have went with softer pads. The seat is the problem for me. I think it's good because it has the extra padding in there, but I wish that they would have made the edge just as flexible as the backrest, so I do have to bring it down a little bit there. I'm going to be at a C+.
Unlike Robert, I actually fit in this chair quite well. I love that flexibility in the backrest like these guys said, and I do like the padding that's in the seat over the mesh. Those armrests though, big miss for me. Still going to rank high for me though, B+, and this is going to be B overall.
The Hon is a decent chair from a very big brand, but it's very average, and that's why I just say that it's decent. The seat is okay, the armrests are okay, the backrest is okay. Nothing that you're really going to hate, but nothing that's really going to wow you. One thing that I will say is the backrest does have much better flexibility than most chairs in this price range. I'm going to be at a C.
It's the old crunchy diaper chair. I've talked about it a lot. I don't love the sound that comes from the seat. We're not ranking the seat sounds though today, but everything about this chair is just average. As average as it gets, I'm going C tier.
Maybe my biggest problem with the chair is I feel like the front edge doesn't have enough of that waterfall, so I feel a little bit of it cutting into my thighs. I do really like the flexibility in the backrest, but still going to be a C for me, C all across.
The OM Affirm chair is definitely a step down from the Truly. I still like the armrest a lot and the seat. Unfortunately, that backrest just doesn't have enough lumbar curve for me, so it's not great there. I'm still going to give it a B-.
I just want to affirm all the stuff that Greg said. I really agree with all of his points. I also do like that they give a high back version of this. That would be my preferred version. It's still going to be a B for me.
Yeah, right there with these guys. I don't need to say everything that they said over again. I'm at a B- as well on this thing, B overall.
The Herman Miller Aeron gaming version is going to have the exact same comfort as their standard office version, so our ranks will be the same here. Ryan and Greg both have Bs. I still give it an A. You might give it a boost just because it looks nice, but the comfort is the same.
The Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 is definitely the best racing style gaming chair that we've tested. I like that it has soft side bolsters on the seat and a built-in lumbar support, but this thing is still incredibly rigid. You've got no seat depth adjustment. It is a racer at the end of the day, but it's the best one, so not quite F tier, D tier for me.
I do like the memory foam headrest pad that's on this chair, and I also like the arms, but unfortunately, this thing sits like a rock. But remember, this is the redemption list for chairs like this. I can use it technically, so I'm going to put it in the D tier.
This definitely has the best seat of these gaming chairs that have the bolsters. The bolsters are a little softer on the Titan, so that's what helps it out a lot here. Still a D for me with 2 Ds and an F. It's going to be a D-.
The BTOD Lamia chair. This thing is absolute perfection for me. I love everything about it. Seat, back, arms, God tier.
So I'm spoiled. I can sit in any of these 80 chairs that we have on the list here. And what do I choose to sit in? The Lamia chair. So this is going to be an S tier.
For me, I just can't quite get the Lamia into S. It's going to be an A+ for me just because I actually like the Leap seat a little better than the Amia's seat. Still an amazing chair, and it averages out to an S.
If you want to see how all these chairs stack up against each other in a guide, check out the link down in the description for our office chair cheat sheet. Thanks a lot for watching.